It is this gross season in Rust Valley. It's snowing like crazy, and it's winter time. We're going to go up and visit Mike and Avery and just ask them a few questions that you may have wondered in yourself and visit with them as normal people.
Fucking drywall. Fuck, I was on the roof.
Hey, how are you? Good. What are you building?
I'm just pretending to love my husband or my ex-husband or whatever you call it.
Today?
There is a key peak. Hey, you can foot on this if you want. Here's a brand new tire.
What's the matter with it?
I hit a pothole with it and cut the sidewall out of it.
Fucker, hey?
Right, somewhere on it, yeah. Okay. That should be good there. That tire pissed me off. That tire's got probably less than 500 miles on it. I think what this has got in it.
Do you know, is the actual computer itself in the car?
Yeah.
Should be.
Hopefully it's still in it.
Exactly. The art of survival. Look casual. So what do we do off season? Fuck around with more cars and
Yes.
junk.
Okay, what do we want?
We want just a couple things for
Fuck,
these
I'm
people
going to the
get
car
know
show
you.
in somewhere in Ontario.
Oh, good.
There's a
What
big
do you-
car
what do you
show
get
there.
Paid for that. And when?
Still raggling over
be in a
between,
couple,
between
3
6,
weeks?
no, in May.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Yeah, May, whatever car show it is, a big fucker
Okay.
in Ontario. I don't know, it's 30,000 people or some fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for starters,
Where are we going? What do we?
we want. What's something your fans don't know about you? Do you like classical music? Do you like fine red wine? Or do you simply like AMC cars, but you don't want to admit it publicly?
I gotta think about this one. Okay, we can talk about that mini actually, because I never always asking.
The neat thing about you, having gotten to know you the last few years, is I do know that you're quite clever with all sorts of different stuff. And I think that's what fascinates me. And it's not always represented in the show.
No, it's not actually. I'll get represented as a fucking idiot.
Right.
Yeah, it's just fucking funny.
So what's something that you're into? Something you may collect or something you fool with that people wouldn't
Did
know
you
about or
mention
wouldn't
guns or no?
suspect.
There's probably that's a taboo thing. Nah,
Well, no, you don't want people knowing
Nah,
you,
we'll
you
leave
have
that
a
out.
pile of guns here.
No, well, we can talk about minis.
Yeah.
There's other things.
Yeah?
When you're-
Telephone booths?
Okay, tell me when you're ready.
Ready.
What am I into that nobody knows about?
Yeah.
I got a knack for collecting weird shit. Like, I like the 70s style.
Really?
I like the 60s style. But yeah, anyways, I
So
collect
70s?
I collect old. I collect this.
Disco? You into disco then?
I had a disco ball once. It's about as far as that went.
I would like to see
And this
you
foot go there,
in a
and this
set of
foot go
bell-bottom
there.
Pants.
You know, I had bell-bottom pants, I think. The deal was to get as big to hide your foot in them. Remember
That's
that?
right.
Yeah, that's back when life was easier. But I have a passion for a few things. I love track machines of all sorts,
Yeah.
but I can't stand snowmobiles.
Really?
I hate snowmobiles.
Interesting.
But track machines, I love track machines. All
So-
kinds of swamp machines, track machines, all kind of big tired shit. I like that.
Yeah.
Not really that much into four-wheel driving as per se, but I used to do interesting things and go on small journeys through the brush and stuff. And of my old four-wheel drive, I had a couple old 1961 and a 62 Land Rover, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
The old aluminum pieces of pre-owned artifacts. They're actually worth big money now. I sold
know
both
they
of them for $150.
Right.
One was mint, the other one was fairly beat.
And is that why since then you've had a hard time selling anything? You don't want to regret it?
It isn't that. I think it gets a certain part of hoarder in your life, a collector hoarder. And it comes to the point that, again, as the same with Mike, we get to a certain point where we're all got something and we have a desire and a dream for it.
Yeah.
Like, and at the end of the day, again, as everybody says, there's just not enough time. But you know what? If you can't dream, what do you have?
Well, that's the truth, isn't it?
You know, what do you have? The other thing I'm quite into is I like these old motorcycles.
Yeah, how about that?
As such as I discovered, so do you.
We got that in common for sure.
I got another one, but my dear child won't give it back to me. I got a fairly good shape 50.
Yeah.
That he's
confiscated it.
he's kind of confiscated it, but I got the other two here that
Yeah.
they go all right, but I've come to the conclusion I either need to lose some weight or put a bigger motor in.
Oh. Probably the bigger motor.
The other question that gets asked to me all the time is, what kind of cars do you like? What kind of car, if you could have any kind of car in the world, it would probably be a supercharged Duesenberg.
Really? There's a pie in the sky.
Well, they asked the question, what would you like? And that's kind of, I like that style. I like the 60s style, and I like that style of car, and I like that vintage of car.
Right.
I like how they look.
Yeah.
But it's just, I like history.
Big wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. I also have a real problem with minis. I've liked minis for approximately probably all of my life.
Yeah, there you go.
When I was 14 or 15 years old, I heard one hell of a rumble coming down the road when I was in town. And I looked around. I couldn't see nothing. I looked around, and here come around the corner this little pregnant roller skate with wheels on it about that wide. It had a chopped roof.
Yep.
It had an IDA Weber 48 sticking through the hood. And here come this guy driving down the road. And I went, I like that.
Yeah.
And then the guy stopped and unfolded himself. He's about 6'4" and about 300 pounds, come out of there laughing his ass off.
No kidding.
And you know what? Ever since that moment,
Minis.
I like minis.
Love it.
And as you see coming up in the next coming up shows and stuff, I finally did do one.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So if we get another season, you're going to hunt down a Duesenberg and do one of those?
I have to get a better job, I think, first.
All right.
The closest I ever come was I found there's a couple cords laying around.
Yeah.
But that's, again, it's, I don't know. I've been into army vehicles lately, track machines and weird stuff.
Yeah.
I like track machines. So,
But not snowmobiles.
I hate snowmobiles.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't, for some reason, you know why that is?
Because it's cold mostly?
No. When I was probably about 8 or 10 years old, I was at 250 Elan. I was at my buddy's place.
They've either made snowmobilers out of people or ruined them. I'm with you there.
I hit a tree about that big and split my nose down the center.
no.
And that ended my snowmobiling career.
Sure.
Yeah.
So there's one thing with being on camera, and people really think that all of that is just normal life for you, but it is actually filming. It's people around you. It's people in your life. What do you feel is one of the biggest challenges of actual filming of a television show? personally for you? Big question, hey?
The hardest thing is language. Being politically correct nowadays. Like, neither me and Mike are politically correct. And to tell somebody to go fuck themselves is not acceptable anymore. Or go, hey, you know what? You're a fucking idiot. You can't say that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's probably the hardest part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is being 100% yourself.
You can be yourself. You just got to cut a few corners.
The PG version.
Yeah, times have changed, and it's got its good spot, I guess, and its bad spot, and its good spot. But at the end of the day, it's probably for the better.
Yeah, agreed.
You have to less apologizing, eh?
We always forget to ask for permission.
I remember the last job site I was on, I told somebody that he was a fucking idiot. And the guy come up and goes, Avery, just so you know, you can't say that anymore. And he goes, you know what? Yeah, he is. You just can't say that. And I think that's probably one of my biggest challenges. And you know what? At the end of the day, him better yourself, there's nothing the matter with it. But
well, that's a great segue into my next question. My next question is, what is something that the TV show has brought into your life that you wouldn't have otherwise had if you just continued as Avery Schoaf?
You know, I think it's meeting people. We get to meet some really, really interesting people, and we get to see shit that the average person will never see. We get to look at car collections, guys' private car collections, and stuff like that the average person would never see.
Right.
There is some amazing car collections out there. I was just in Edmonton a little while ago, and a guy brought me over to see his Corvette collection. He had a original Fuelie. Wow. He had an original split window. He had an old Ferrari in there. I don't know what year Corvette the other one was. And about 6 or 7 different varieties, 72, 68, and a bunch of other vets in there. Yeah. It's just, the thing that just pops to my mind, that's just one of them. Yeah. But there is some amazing car collections out there. Another guy, I go looking for some used parts.
You try 0.5. So you're in 0.5. Yep.
The other interesting thing is the Manta that you so graciously bought off me, my dream, that's now going to be your nightmare. When I was in the process of looking for a motor for that car, I ran into another guy that had a junkyard on the outskirts of Edmonton. And he goes, hey, you want to look at my cars? I said, sure, of course I do. We went over there. We went kind of around out of the junkyard. All of a sudden, we went to a great big shop. I walk in there. He's got the world's largest collection of 442s, I think.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's probably got 20 of them. Convertibles, 442, whatevers they are, and a bunch of other shit. And I go, that's really nice. He says, hey, but you want to see my other cars? I said, okay. Brought me over to his house garage. Brought me in. There's some kind of interesting car sitting there. I look over and I go, what's that? He goes, that's an original Hemi Charger.
Really?
Yeah, factory Hemi. Untouched, unscathed, unattached factory Hemi.
You don't run across those cars
unpainted,
ever.
Yeah, parked right there. And I go, what's that hunk of shit sitting on top of it? He looks at me and starts laughing. He says, that's a Camaro with factory cross 4s on it.
Wow.
And I said, how rare is that? He goes, it's pretty rare.
Pretty rare.
And yeah, so it's very interesting, the things that people have. And you get to see that, and I think that's probably the most interesting and the best part about it.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah, I've been fortunate to have just a little bit of screen time with you guys, and I feel exactly the same way. It's the people I've met, and some interesting characters, including yourself.
I tell you what, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't believe, I said, what is that thing sitting on top? And you brought it down, open the hood. There they are, sitting cross 4s
on a 302, no, nonetheless. I believe it only came on 302.
I don't know, but it was 100% original.
Yeah, badass.
He said he's had this car for approximately 40 years.
Is he your transmission guy?
No, he's the other with the transmission. No, that's the transmission guy. Now he's got some weird shit too. They're all into Dodges, these guys, for some reason. I don't know. I think they all fall and hit their head on something. You know what they say about Dodge, eh?
Oh yeah.
Hey, you'd rather have your sister in a house of ill repute than your brother driving one.
And that was the PG version.
Yeah. They got some all right stuff. Anyways, no. Other than that, it's a social thing. I think that's fairly interesting in it,
isn't it?
It really is. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's about people, man.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So clearly you've been to a million car shows now, and you're probably sick of that. But can you tell me one car show, if pie in the sky anywhere in the world, that you'd like to attend? What would that be?
You know, I can honestly say, when we went with the Riddler there that you had in there for the Riddler, I would have to say if I could go attend that one again, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And that was probably the most impressive car show that I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And the stuff there is absolutely, you just look at it. And the first thing that comes to your mind is, well, that looks really nice. That must have not have took very long.
Yeah.
I get a kick out of that.
Right.
People look at stuff, and I even look at it and go, well, that's pretty nice. And then you start thinking about it and go, my good God, what did he spend?
Right.
2 months on that hood? As I asked you before, how many hours he got into that hood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start counting thousands. It's crazy.
It just...
That level of build, and we got to do it again this year and went to California this time.
How was that?
Grand National Roadster Show. It was amazing. Yeah. 2 finalists in 2 different big categories, same as the Grade 8 and same as Riddler. So it was 1 AMBR contender, which is America's Most Beautiful Roadster. And then we did an Al Sloniker Memorial Award contender. So, right at the top of the league. We had a ton of fun.
There's a few places that I wouldn't mind going and checking out stuff in,
Yeah.
But again, it's just, I don't know, it's just very interesting.
Yeah.
But again, I like the old stuff. I like the style.
Yeah.
And I like the older stuff.
We agree on that.
Yeah.
So the last sort of direction I'm going to push you here is the fact that you and I have been talking for a while about finding the right sponsors to get you to SEMA.
Yeah. You asked a question a little while ago, things that I'd like to do. You asked me, I should rephrase that. You asked me my favorite car show that I went to.
Yep.
You didn't ask me where I would like to go.
Oh, well, do tell.
I've never been to SEMA. I hear everybody talking about it, and something always comes up that I miss.
Right.
And if there's one thing that I would like to do, is I would truly like to go to SEMA.
Well, let's put that together. I think that's a great idea.
I think it would be very interesting. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to start promoting that idea for sure.
I think it'd be good, I think.
Avery in Vegas.
Holy. Think about that. Avery in Vegas.
I've been there. I've been there before. I've been to lots of interesting places. The last time I was in Vegas is we went for the foundation show. My buddy Jason is into foundation equipment, and we travel around and we go to several different places.
Yep.
The last show we went to was in, I do believe it was in Kissimmee, Florida.
Okay.
Kissimmee.
Yep.
Kissimmee. Close enough.
Yep.
I drove a tri-drive Kenworth down there with a pile driver on it. I think it weighed 86,000 pounds.
No kidding.
I drove it all the way from Grand Prairie, Alberta to Granite Falls, from Granite Falls to Kissimmee. Yep. A kiss of me, a kiss of you. Don't be kissing me. Anyways, I drove it all the way down there. For you people that don't know, I used to be a truck driver back in the day. I'm a shitty truck driver, just so you know. I was driving this thing through Disneyland, Disney World, whatever the hell it is, knocking the leaves off trees, eh? This thing had probably about a 65 or a 70 foot set of leads on the top of it that I drove out the front and out the back. And I was weaving her through traffic downtown in front of the Hilton there. Then I set it up in the Hilton. It was an interesting drive, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, little tri-drive going around the Minders corner, just have like that, the smoke be just rolling off them tires, eh? You just sit on it, just cranking on the wheel.
Okay, and then the last most important question is, how much are you going to sell me that air thing for?
I got to think about that one. I was actually going to put it in my shop. I got a couple antiques here.
Yeah.
And I was going to put it there. They are fairly expensive. But I think what'll come down to that is it'll end up being something you don't want to get rid of.
A trades easy. Well,
You know how that works, eh? You find two things that the other guy doesn't want and the other guy doesn't want, and then you trade, then you feel better about it.
exactly. Okay.
But yeah, that thing's complete. It did work. I got to think where it come from. I think it come out of the gas station in Solista. I also got the original gas pump from the gas station in Solista.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's a 100 Gabraco.
Gilbrocco, yeah.
Something like that,
That's
yeah.
right, yeah.
But that's the other thing too, is I like antique stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah, it just, why, I don't know.
I don't know either.
The other thing too is,
I love it. I think, to explain it in one word, I think antique things have a soul. There's a story. They've made memories, and I just sort of get encompassed in that.
I look at something, you go look at some old car that's all rusted to shit, and I look at it, and I smile, and the first thing that comes to my mind is, the guy that originally bought that car brand new off the showroom,
Exactly.
he figured he had got shot in the ass with a bolt of lightning. He had the world in his hands, and it was
Absolutely.
probably the first new vehicle that he ever owned and his family ever owned.
Yep.
And he's gonna drive that home, and he's gonna just be happier than hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at it, and you just the course of events that vehicle has done.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of, you just look at that and you just sit there and you just start smiling to yourself, eh? You
Yep.
know.
I'm freaking out about vintage race cars right now. That's where my mind is, and I'm super excited about it. So
What are
you're
you
gonna
gonna
see
get?
me something real soon. I'm not really fussy as long as it's vintage and a race car.
What kind of race car? Circle track?
Oh, road racing, just like I've been doing. Yeah.
There's some neat stuff out there. You come across that stuff every once in a while. Somebody will have something stacked away. Like Richard has an old circle track car, or not, a midget.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah.
He's got an old midget.
Aren't they good looking?
They're super cool.
Small, easy to collect.
Yeah, you can put 6 of them in the back of your truck.
Exactly.
But I don't know what I want to collect anymore. I've been focusing on cleaning my yard lately. As you
Looks
see,
good.
I got a small bit of shop to go yet, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna get mad, and I will come in here, and there will be nothing left. Do you fix any Corvettes?
We do once in a while.
I have a whole bunch of brand new C5 Corvette C6 brake parts.
Really?
Yeah,
What for?
that Manta.
Oh,
That
I
come
see.
with it in a box of shit.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Okay.
It's straight iced.
I see that.
Okay, we don't need a video of you doing a head flap. JF Lanier sues Rust Brothers for unsafe access.
For the last $6 they have. Oh, fuck.
Over there, it's just nuts. It's like smooth and creamy.
Ah.
You guys couldn't have picked a better day, JF?
No shit. It was beautiful yesterday when we drove up. Ooh, my favorite Porsche.
I guess it'll come back and ejaculate. Right, too much of a good thing.
Well, look how nice it looks in here, hey?
I know. I got no client cars here anymore.
Perfect. Well, I have a gift for you.
What do you got for me? Yeah, I know what you got. Look at that, folks. The rarest of the rare.
Yeah.
Factory Pontiac 409 valve covers. Or maybe not. It could be the trickster here is playing a joke on some people.
A pair of them. Ooh.
Wow, look, and vintage.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I'm gonna have to clean the place off on the wall of honor here and hang these puppies. I think maybe right underneath that 4-speed console there.
Yeah, that's a great
We'll
idea.
get rid of that hood bird, yeah. I think they'll look great there. Yeah, it's supposed to be snowing 20 centimeters today, Jay.
Oh, so we're only going to visit you for a little while. and
Well, I know you want to make it home before you're dead. Yes, look at those. Ooh, baby. Saw your trip to the States was good?
It was good. It was really good.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
I really enjoyed it.
My throne, I just sit here all day and think about doing nothing.
That's awesome.
King of all I survey. It's all good. Fuck. Well, we're supposed to be working today, but the weather's just insane. We can't hang on a rope 10 hours a day in this. My drill's $100 grand. It's gonna just break it. So they're paying us standby.
Really? So that's what you do?
Yeah, I tell you how much I'm getting, but you'd cry.
It would make me, it would make me sad.
Have a donut. Fuck. Somebody was just filming here with Sarah, and they brought me. I said, "Take them. I'll eat them all." Have a donut. Why don't you have a donut? You're skinny enough you can afford one.
I was going to say I'm allergic to donuts. Do you know
Are
what
you?
happens when I eat donuts? I break out in fat.
It goes right to my head, right between my ears. Fatness.
Okay, so our little job here is to try to introduce you to our sponsors to try to get you a seat.
Okay. So what do you need?
We're going to talk a little bit about off-season stuff.
Yeah.
So you can just tell us, start by telling us, what does Mike Hall do off-season?
Usually off season, I go hang off cliffs and blow shit up. Just for relaxing. Some time off after the stress of building cars. I like to go hang out with my crew. Play with some dynamite. Just run-of-the-mill shit. That's what I like doing. There's a reason I have a TV show, JF. Actually, normally another thing I like doing off season is finishing all the cars that we've already filmed for the show that never get finished. That's another thing we like doing. Because I don't know if you guys know much about reality television, but if they run, we film them. The last little details, the camera hides them. So basically, if they can run, usually we're so far behind schedule, we go drive them. I don't know if you'll note this one. I can't show you the car because it's on the show, but it does have studded winters on it, as a test drive was done in December. Anyway.
So, what would be something your fans do not know about you? Do you like classical music, fine red wine, or have you got a secret fetish for AMC products?
Something my fans might not know about me is I've been clean and sober for 10 years. Not had a drink, not done any drugs in my youth. I led what we might call, there was a reason we were called high scalers back in the day, and we were, but I mean, things have changed, and I've watched a lot of my friends fall by the wayside, and it's nice when you remember, when you wake up in the morning, what you did last night. So they might not know that. They might think I'm a wild, crazy guy, party animal. I'm not.
I think that's beautiful, actually. I think that's inspiring.
Yeah, super inspiring.
Stop it, you're gonna make me cry.
So the TV stuff keeps you super busy.
Yes.
What do you feel is your biggest personal challenge in filming?
Well, if you ask Avery what my biggest personal challenge is, it's staying out of the way of his camera shots. But I think my biggest personal challenge is remembering the cameras are there, because I don't. I mean, I'm not an actor, I'm who I am. That's why people that come, they meet me, say, well, just like you are on TV. Well, there's a reason for it. I'm the same guy you see on TV as you see when you come to my shop. But my biggest challenge is just remembering what I'm actually doing, because as soon as the action starts, I forget there's cameras, and they're always giving me shit for it. Face the camera, look into the camera. I just don't stay focused long enough. I think it's called ADD. Like I always say, you have ATD, attention to detail. I have ADD, attention deficit disorder. I have a prescription for it, but I don't like taking it.
What's something that TV shows brought you that you otherwise wouldn't have had in your life?
Basically, with the TV, I mean, I've been on the paper, on the front page of every newspaper in BC, hanging off cliffs, stopping traffic, blowing rocks up, whatever. But I mean, what it did bring me was the ability to get rid of 40-year collection of cars that I would have died owning 600 or 700 cars. And the fact I did sell the Field of Dreams, we had the auction, people were really enthused. And it's like a good friend of mine once said, Mike, we don't own these vehicles, we caretake them. And if we do a good enough job, somebody else gets to continue the job. So I thought I did a pretty good job. I never parted them, never sold parts. I mean, they didn't appreciate much in my storage field, but at least I never killed them. So I think I've done my bit to save 400, 500, 600 cars that could have otherwise ended up on the scrap heap or parted out.
No, absolutely. Now you've been to lots and lots of car shows.
Hardly any. I've been to about 5.
Okay.
That's it. I just never get a chance.
So Pie in the Sky
Yep.
is there, and this is of course a lead.
Yep.
Is there a car show that you would like to attend, and something that kind of on your bucket list? If you will?
Well, basically, about the only thing that's really on my bucket list, I mean, me and my kid, we'd really like to go to SEMA, just because we've never been there. There's reasons we couldn't make it into the States, transgressions in my past, I should say, we've had that dealt with, but it would be really cool to go to SEMA while I'm still slightly popular. People just might recognize me, and it'd just be cool to hobnob with all of my heroes from days gone by that actually build nice cars.
Awesome. What's your fondest memory of the last 5 years of filming? Whether it's a car, a person?
I don't know. I think the fondest memory is just like when some of the fans actually see me. I mean, it's almost embarrassing how happy they are. Like, cause I mean, I just look in the mirror, I'm the same 66 years old, just had a birthday, rock scaler. I see the same person, but they see me and it's like, and then I talk to them, I show them around, I give them the tour, and just, I mean, it's hard to believe how much happiness that they seem to get out of just even meeting me, saying hi to me, looking at my junk. It's still overwhelming some days.
Yeah, it's humbling, isn't it?
Well, it is, because I mean, who the hell am I? Right? I mean, it's not like at 60 years old, okay, career change, rock scaler, I'm going to become a TV reality star now. I'm tired of rock scaling. I want to build cars, go on Netflix, have people from all over the planet come and visit me. And I mean, it's not like you plan your life, JF.
You're right.
A good friend once told me life is what happens while you're making a plan. So good thing I never made a plan.
Okay, and you got questions for me? How about that? What will be a question you forgot to ask me? You and I are pretty well.
JF.
We're pretty liberal with our stuff, aren't we?
Tell me how bad it bugs you that I have a TV show and you build a Riddler. Tell me that one. Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night screaming?
Oh, I want to be Mike.
No, but I mean, it's because I mean, I remember the first car show when they invited me and Avery down to the BC Custom and Classic Car Show.
Yep.
And some guy came up to me and said, Mike, every serious car builder here hates your guts.
Yep.
And I said, I would too if I were you. Because what does a clown show like me and Avery have the right to have a car show when serious builders like J.F. Lanier, Riddler winner, as a builder and an owner, even Chip Foose doesn't have the owner one.
Right.
Why are they not on shows building cars? Because I don't get it. I mean,
I get it actually. After being a part of what you do for so long, I think I see how much of a character you are. I'm a craftsman.
yes.
And there hasn't been a spot for me yet as a craftsman to just show my craft and share it.
No. I mean, because people.
Luckily, yeah, I don't think it hurts my feelings at all.
Okay, well, it's good because I was wondering because I mean I remember that first show and those guys because there were some amazing builders there. What's the little guy? What do I call him? Ready Rod. Rod.
Yes.
Rod was there. And like I mean, all these guys building 200-300 cars like you build, and different class. I mean, people say, Mike, how come we never see a car show? He says, because I don't build cars to go to car shows.
Right.
I mean, this car here, I can't show it to you because it's on the first episode, but I sprayed 9 coats of paint on it.
I like that.
So I mean, I did it. So I mean, and I'm not a painter, but I mean.
Do you think you would have done that before the TV show?
Well, no. Well, the biggest thing the show gave me was the fact for 40 years I collected cars.
Yep.
I never finished any of them.
Right.
1 or 2 in 40 years. What the car show gave me was the ability to actually see how much labor, effort, and let's not forget expense.
Right.
It takes to bring a POS, as my kid likes to say, from the field.
Yep.
And bring it back to life.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, and I would say that early on, I think in your career, in your restoration career, we sure saw you
Sink myself.
Well, yeah, and you had to learn it the hard way in the
Yes.
sense that I would have told you, oh, it costs this much, and you and I would have had an argument the first season.
Said, no, it doesn't. Now, after 3-4 years, it's like Blair says, Mike, you can take a car apart in 2 days.
Yep.
It's 250 hours to put that car back together perfectly.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it 40 years, and I didn't believe him, but I mean, after 4 years and 50 episodes, I believe him because it's like I can personally tear a car apart every nut and bolt in 2 days. You can't put it back in less than a month.
Yeah, and we've always said that it's 1,000 hours by the time you include the paint job, the body work, and the rust repair.
And it doesn't matter if it's a Volkswagen or a Porsche or a Roadrunner.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 hours.
100%.
Now, when people come and they ask me, Mike, can you restore my car? I say, don't do it.
Yeah.
Do not, if it was your dad's car and it has special meaning, it doesn't run, rebuild the motor. Upgrade it to disc brakes. If you have to, do a little bit of upholstery. Do not tear it apart.
Correct.
Because one, if it does get done, it'll kill you. Two, it might never get put back together. That's why there's all these unfinished projects all across the country. People start with high expectations, and it's overwhelming the amount of work to tear something apart is easy to put it back together. That's why I'm great at tearing shit apart. But putting it back together, I gotta hire people because I just do not have the patience and the wherewithal. I'm great at disassembly.
The ADD kicks in and you
The
take a different
ADD,
one.
squirrel. Put the part down where to put it. Where's the wrench? Right? Tearing it apart, just go to the toolbox and just keep grabbing tools until it's all tagged and bagged. Yeah. I'm good at that part.
For sure.
And another thing I've learned is recognize your strengths and recognize your weaknesses. Blair does metal work. Blair, you can do the metal work.
Perfect.
Right? But you have to know that one man cannot build a car. You need a team. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Yeah, you have to have a team.
Well, the thing is, it's just like back in the old days. When it was a Model A, one guy could do it all. But now the wiring, the electronics, the fuel injection, the disc brakes, there's just, unless you're Leonardo da Vinci or a genius like Michelangelo, people, that's why they call them experts. You know more and more about less and less. For sure. But that's what makes you an expert.
Yep.
Like to be like a be-all, do-all kind of guy, those days are gone. It's just the cars are too complicated.
For sure. And even simple things like making sure you reassemble the inside of the door with the window winders and stuff can be just clumsy sometimes.
Everything. First time I took a quarter window out of a B-body Dodge, I just about lost my mind.
Right.
I just wanted to smash it. Just like, this shouldn't be this hard, right? And then of course you get it put back together. You roll the window down once, it doesn't go back up.
Right.
Tear it apart. So I mean, even simple cars, and we're talking cars 50 years old. I mean, the new ones now, I mean, unless you're an electronic guru, like you can't even deal with them, right?
Yeah.
The light goes on, what do you do?
For sure.
Take it to the dealer.
Yeah. If you open the hood and you can recognize a component, you're lucky.
Yeah. Or if you can see a component, you recognize it. What's that? I don't know. What's that? Where's the engine? Right? You know, not like you open the hood of this and there's a 390 FE and a high rise, and I mean simple 8 plug wires, right? But
big question that's going around. Do you feel, and maybe give us just a percentage of a chance, there might be another season? Have you got one left in you?
I can't answer that question. I know everybody keeps asking you, doing it again and doing it again. We don't even know when this season's airing. Right? I mean, we have no clue.
But you have just finished filming one.
We've just finished filming one, so there's another 8.
The public's going to get to see.
Yes, there'll be season 5
yeah.
will be coming. Whether or not there's a season 6, I don't know. I'm getting old.
Yeah.
Right? I'm 66. I just celebrated a birthday, and I mean, I'm still hanging off cliffs too. I mean, I'm having a hard time retiring from anything.
Sure.
So, but
have you enjoyed this season that just passed?
Actually, this season was pretty good. We only did a couple client builds. I got to work on some special ones for me, which is way more. It's way more rewarding when you're doing something that you know you're going to get to enjoy it at the end, as opposed to, mind you, we did do a couple cool builds for some clients this year. You saw the last one, and it was pretty wild.
Yeah.
I've never seen a tattooed Samoan moved to the edge of tears.
No kidding.
Looking at a car. It was just because as we're going around the corner, I told them, if you cry, I'm charging you double.
Oh, that's awesome.
Actually, I can't show them. Here, I'll show you the picture of the look on his face. Did you ever meet him?
Nope, I never.
Okay, hang on, wait a sec. Hang on, where is it? Katie. I can't show it. You can't show this because it's going to be on.
Because you've had almost every car you've ever wanted. Have you had every car you've ever wanted? If you had all the money or had all access to anything, if there was one car that you haven't had and you would love to have.
Ooh, that's a good one. Hey?
Out of all, I mean, I've had probably over 1,000 cars. I mean, I've never driven them all, but I mean, just to have them, it's like, taking big game photos.
Yeah.
Got that one, I've had that one, I've had a couple of those. I haven't had a C3 vet, C2 vet. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd like to have a 62.
Yeah.
Last year with the 4 lights, first year with the
The
60
back end,
with the
yeah.
Stingray, just because it was like the melding of the mind sort of
transition,
thing,
yeah,
right? I think I'd like to have I mean, I've always loved the 63 to 67s, but I think a 62 would be cool.
Yeah.
Of course, I'd have to put it on an Art Morrison chassis and do a little bit of tweaking to it.
300 grand.
Yeah, later. Yeah, but I mean, basically, the one under the tarp there, the import, that's been on my hit list for, I never went and looked for one,
Yeah.
but I've always wanted one, and that one found me.
Right.
So it was like Lincoln. He found me. I didn't really need him, but he found me, and it was,
Maybe you actually need another season to restore that car.
well, that's why we aren't touching it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't restore it. I would get it running and drive it.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, it's been parked for 20 years.
Yeah.
It's been painted once, and that was over 40 years ago, because the guy owned it 40 years. He said he'd never painted it.
Right.
So it's a cool, it's a 52-year-old car.
I love it.
And there's more headroom in that than my 68 Chevelle.
Really?
Have you ever sat in one? Have
Who'd have thunk?
you ever sat in one
I
of
don't
those?
think I have.
Come here.
But I'm just as much of a fan of those.
Yeah,
cars.
come on, it's just
I'm not allowed to film this though.
no.
Am I allowed to film this?
No.
So whose car is this?
That's Brad's brothers. On Island this week. So I think you brought this with you. Take it back to OSOYOOS where it belongs, JF. Hey, Link. Oh yeah, well they're calling for 12 inches.
Yeah, you're right. We should hit the
Right.
Hey.
Do a goodbye somewhere. Where you want to do that?
Au revoir, mon ami. Bon chance
You're
et bon
welcome for
voyage.
those rare valve covers.
Yes, thank you for
Yes.
those rare prices, valve covers. But you guys send me a text when you make it back. The roads are crowded.
We will.
Anyway, thanks a lot, JF.
Yes.
Really appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Mike. I
Lincoln
appreciate
appreciate
you
you.
too.
He didn't
Yeah.
bite you.
Nope.
Who do you
Me?
love? Do you love JF or do you love me?
You're a good
Okay, you guys take
I
care.
will.
Pleasure. Enchanté. Bon voyage.
Bon voyage.